what does it mean to you to volunteer for this particular organization?
I mean, the kind of heart that I have towards other younger black gay males.
Yeah.
I just want to see everyone get on track, do well.
Yeah.
Here is to help someone.
To help someone? Okay. What about you?
I feel confident in myself,
Yeah.
so it kind of builds self-esteem, and I might save another life or change somebody's life.
It marks the 350 strong launch initiative, and I'm gonna sit down with the creative director, right? The program director,
Program manager.
the program manager, Craig Washington, and I want to find out why he's so passionate about this initiative and what it means to you. So I'm just gonna jump in there, and I want to ask you a couple questions. So I want you to tell me a little bit about the Evolution Project and what its mission is.
Okay. The Evolution Project is an off-site center that serves several purposes, but essentially it's a safe space for young black gay men, to connect with each other, to experience community, to be able to support each other. Also an HIV prevention program, certainly, and so it's built on a model whereby young men actually take ownership of the program, right? So they're not just receiving services, or they're not just being taught something or given something by staff. They're actually learning and teaching and modeling for each other, and it has a greater impact.
What does this program mean for the LGBT community, and how can we impact more? How can we reach more of the youth?
It's extremely important. I would say first and foremost, of course, for young black gay men, just to have a space that they can call their home. It's at times, at limited hours, it's open to people who are not young and black and gay, or transgender people also, and certainly to young black transgender people as well. But it's for them. It's exclusively unapologetically for them. And there isn't any other space like that at the present time. And that's important. It's also, I think, a model of excellence to see other young black men. To be a young man, see other men their age actually act as peer supporters, actually contribute to the planning of activities, conceptualizing themes and outreach, and really making an impact on each other and the community itself. And I think it's something that the LGBT community needs to see. If you Google, if you do a search for black gay men, you often come up with one of two categories that are dominant. One is sex and pornography, and the other is HIV. Right? So there's very little evidence, at least widespread evidence, that we matter. And I mean black gay men, young black gay men, matter, particularly, and that that young men can have a sense of control, the amount of control and agency in their own future, in their own lives, and make a positive impact on the community and serve a positive models. And I think evolution is an opportunity. I think as gay men, we're taught sometimes to avoid those of us that seem less normal or less like what is approved by way of which we are as men or how femme we are as women. And so we're taught and we teach each other to look down on people that are more, some friends would say gender queer, right? Or gender different from what's considered the norm, the dominant norm, which is bullshit, or it tears community apart. It's one of the I think deepest and most impactful levels of discrimination is the ways in which we as gay men often look down upon those who are more femme than we are. It's something that we practice, and it's practiced among even the prevention workers. And so that's something that we need to look inside ourselves and say, why is that I'm feeling different this way? I don't need to identify with someone to respect them as a human being and respect them and embrace their difference. And that's one thing that we certainly need to do for those of us.
I have a radio show. That's what I do. And I posted a Twitter question. I said, like, what questions do you guys want to hear, me ask you? And they gave me some statistics about HIV. And so basically it was just like, with 70% of all new HIV infections reported in Georgia alone, with men of color, why do you believe we as a community aren't being more proactive with safe sex practice?
I'll trouble the question.
Yeah.
I think there are many factors that drive the rates, certainly among young black men. And some of them just have to do with being a part of social and sexual networks, right? If there's a concentration of virus, HIV, in the community. I mean, look at virus. Some people use Kool-Aid as an analogy. So if there's more Kool-Aid in the pool that you're playing with, you're more likely to get replaced than somebody else. So regardless of how much you may or may not, be successful in producing virus, how much you may be committed to that. The other thing is that that we are just beginning to provide behavioral interventions, like the kinds of programs where we basically teach or support you to individually do something, and more structural level ones where the person doesn't even have to do anything, but it still has an impact. Whether that's anti-stigma campaigns or making sure that people have jobs and income and housing so that their lives are more stable and they're less vulnerable to HIV and a host of other things, right? So I think we need to move away from, not to mention the lack of biomedical choices, right? Vaccines and microbicides. We're just beginning to get to that point where we're on the brink of that, so we need to move away from this notion that if there's a high prevalence of HIV in the community, it's because people don't care, because people are not practicing safe sex. It's a lot more complicated.
Can you just give my viewers the website?
Oh, sure. It's www.evolutionprojectatl.org, and we can also be reached at 44524.
I'ma be